Switzerland, the country famous for its chocolate, cheese, fondue, and many other things. Switzerland even ranks the highest in consumption of chocolate per capita, and it is in the top 10 when it comes to consumption of cheese. Yet, the Swiss are so slim and fit, they don't even feature in the top 100 most obese countries. So where does all that cheese and chocolate go? What makes the Swiss people so fit? We're going to find that out in today's video. Perhaps some of us that are looking to get fit and healthy in the new year, we might learn a thing or two from the Swiss. So let's go. First, let's look at their food habits. What do the Swiss eat for breakfast? Muesli, or in particular, the Bircher muesli, or the way the Swiss would like to call it, Bircher muesli. Dr. Bircher, or Bircher as I'm going to call him, he was a doctor and he created this breakfast, and he wanted to create something that's nourishing and it is easy to make for his patients that were recovering. So this muesli is very easy to make, and in fact that's my staple to this day. But the way to make it is to soak the oats overnight in yogurt or in milk. I soak it in yogurt, and in the morning you grate fresh apple and you can top it up with a few nuts if you like. But the traditional Bircher muesli was basically just soaked oats with yogurt and grated apple. And if you want to sweeten it up, then you can add honey or sugar. But really, if you have fresh fruits, then they are juicy and sweet, so I don't find the need to add in any additional sweeteners. Apart from that, it's the usual bread and butter or cheese or even a cup of yogurt, because in Switzerland the dairy is really good. So the local grocery stores, even though they are a lot smaller than the typical American grocery stores or even the Australian ones, they do have an entire aisle that is dedicated exclusively to chocolate. And there's also a massive section which has various flavored yogurts. And when I say flavored, they're usually seasonal fruits that are added to yogurt and very lightly sweetened. So they're very fresh and very tasty. So sometimes people just have like a banana or some fruit and a cup of yogurt. Having said that, not everybody follows such a healthy breakfast. I saw there were a few trends which were not very healthy, but we're going to park it for later, I think. Today we're going to only try and motivate ourselves and learn something and focus on all the good things that the Swiss people do to remain fit, healthy and happy. There's also something to be said about the quality of the local produce. Now, Switzerland is a very small country. It's a landlocked country, and also it has a lot of mountains. So the amount of food it can grow, it's not enough to sustain the entire population. So it does rely a lot on exports. Now, a lot of the exports into Switzerland, they come from the neighboring EU countries. So Italy or France, Germany and so on. But one thing that I really appreciated was if you go and buy some strawberries or blueberries or raspberries, any kind of berries, it would usually come from a farm not very far from the city. And the berries, they won't last more than 2 to 3 days. They would start going bad, start growing mold. But that is something that doesn't happen everywhere in every country. When I used to buy berries in Singapore, which you should ask me, why was I buying berries in Singapore? Like, it's a tropical country. There's such an abundance of locally grown fruit. Why did I have to go to a fancy grocery store and pay top dollar for just a punnet of blueberries? I don't know. Like, the box used to clearly say that it's from California. And those berries you could keep in the fridge for like a month. And the max that would happen is they would just go a little bit mushy. They would start getting wrinkly, but never grew any mold. That should tell us something, right? So the quality of the locally grown fruits, vegetables as well as dairy, it's really good quality. We can't talk about food in Switzerland and not touch upon fondue or even raclette or rosti. All of these are dishes that are very rich. Fondue is basically a large pot in which you melt a lot of cheese with some garlic or wine and you dip bread into it. So it's like carbs and fat, like bread dipped into cheese, and you enjoy that. And you might have a glass of wine or a bottle of wine. Fondue is a Swiss dish, but it's not something that people have every day. It's more enjoyed during the winter months, and especially after you've had a really long day of outdoor activities. Typically, if you've spent the day skiing on a mountain, you might want to end your night with a pot of molten cheese, like enjoy your fondue, or you have friends and family. So it's a relatively easy thing to put together because it's like one big pot in which everybody dips in their breads or vegetables and things. But it's not something that people enjoy every day. It's a bit of a special special treat kind of a thing. And similarly, raclette. Raclette is also molten cheese eaten with potatoes or meats, cold cuts. And then you have rosti. Rosti is the Swiss version of the hash browns. So it's grated potatoes that are cooked. And it's not like a breakfast dish. It's not a staple. It's enjoyed like a side dish or even as a main dish, but for lunch or maybe even dinner. And one thing that always needs to be mentioned is the portion sizes. The Swiss, or in general, I think the entire world's portion sizes are much smaller than the American portion sizes. There's also balance in the kind of food that's consumed. It's not a giant plate of carbs and fat. There's generally, some soup or salad, some cheese or cured meats or vegetables. So there is a balance in what is consumed every day, and also the portion sizes are limited. I think with respect to food, that's probably all that I'll mention. The Swiss, they do enjoy chocolate as well. They are the world's largest consumer of chocolate per capita, but it's not always those sugary milk chocolates or white chocolates. I found a lot of the Swiss people, they prefer dark chocolate. Most people that I knew, and in fact I also started to enjoy or develop a taste for dark chocolate when I was in Switzerland. And dark chocolate, it is low in sugar and high in antioxidants. So if you're consuming a lot of chocolate, maybe you can slowly try to make the switch towards dark chocolate. And even in dark chocolate, there's a lot of variation. So you have like 60% dark, 70% dark, 75. The max I have tried is the 95% dark chocolate, which is very bitter, but I liked it still. So that might be something that you want to slowly move towards. So I think that's all we're going to talk about in terms of food. The next point is the reliance on public transport. Switzerland is a small landlocked country and it has excellent public transport. And anytime people have to use public transport to commute, there will be a certain amount of walking involved. From your home to the station or to the bus stop and back. So even for the most lazy person in the country, if you have to commute using public transport, you will have to do some amount of walking. Heavy reliance on public transport, I think it has a cascading effect on people's health as well, because you will have to walk. Sometimes you'll have to run if you're about to miss your bus or miss your train. So that in itself, I think, contributes to some amount of physical activity. And speaking of physical activity and sport, people love to enjoy the outdoors. So in the winter season, skiing and snowboarding are really popular, but really all through the year, people love to go hiking, biking or cycling. And you have a lot of trails, a lot of cycling paths that are really beautiful. So a lot of routes where you can go cycling, and they are really beautiful, very scenic. You get these maps for every cycling route depending on your level of fitness and how difficult or easy you want your cycling route to be. You can choose a route. So you have all these facilities, amazing facilities, which people love to enjoy. And on Sunday, the shops in Switzerland are closed, except for at the airports and train stations. Everywhere else you'll find all the shops are closed. So the culture of spending your entire weekend in the mall, window shopping or shopping, that just doesn't exist. So on the weekends you will find people out and about doing outdoor activities or just nature walks. It's very common in that society. Another important factor, I think, is their work-life balance. People don't usually sit in the office for long hours and overextend themselves. Of course, there are times that you do have to stretch a bit when you have a deadline or something, but it's not the norm. And that allows people to leave work on time, head home, go for a jog or a run, and then sit down for dinner. And that allows people to sleep early and get up early as well, which in turn means that most people, they are following the circadian rhythm. They wake up with the sunrise, they enjoy their dinner early in the evening, and they sleep early as well. And following the circadian rhythm, it basically means eating while the sun is still out, because they say there's a correlation between how things are as above so below. So if the sun is at its peak in the afternoon, that is also the time that our digestive fire is at its highest. And so the cultures that focus on having a nice heavy lunch and going light on the dinner, going light on the breakfast, those are the cultures that are also generally slimmer. So is it any wonder that the Swiss are also consistently ranked in the top 10 most happy countries in the world? And they are by no means lazy. Switzerland produces and is so well known for its quality and precision. Swiss watches are the best in the world, and also the most expensive. I feel it's not only the lifestyle and the food habits, but so much more that we can learn from Switzerland and indeed much of Europe. A lot of the European countries, they rank highest in terms of their happiness, as well as they are amongst the fittest in the world, living well, staying fit, healthy and happy, and also producing some of the best quality products and innovations. There's obviously some correlation between mindset and lifestyle habits, and productivity. But I'm going to leave it here for today. Perhaps in another video we should explore the productivity and the happiness quotient in some of these countries as well. There are a lot of similarities in the European countries because I have already covered Sweden, Italy and France. Do check them out and let me know if you agreed with any of these points. Please do like this video because I'm trying to grow my channel and it just isn't happening. Maybe if you like it, YouTube might recommend this video to other people as well. You'll find the playlist of all the other videos I have made in this series here or here. Please do check it out and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.